Happening this morning on News 12, a child is hit by a car while crossing the road, then pinned underneath it. We have the latest on his condition. Plus, police confirm another anti-Semitic attack, this time on a mother pushing her child in a stroller. This adding to a number of recent attacks on the Jewish community.
Today's weather's a little upset, but it's not a terrible day. We do have some improvement on the way. We'll talk about it coming up.
And Alexa Farrell is here with a full report on the roads and rails as you head out the door for your Friday morning commute. Good morning and thanks for waking up with us. I'm Michelle DeVone in for Gianna Gelosi. Today is Friday, December 27th. And this is News 12. We'll get to your top stories in just a moment, but first, here's our meteorologist Mike Rizzo with everything you need to know.
Hey
Mike, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we got some stuff to know today about the weather. I mean, it is going to be a little sprinkly. It could be, yeah, I guess.
Oh, maybe not. Never
it goes
mind.
both ways, right? As you head outside, you'll notice that it's very cloudy, but it's mild, right? So at least that's the good news. We're starting off this morning around 43. I call it a sleepy start to the day. It is Friday of a very long holiday week, thankfully. Right? And once we get into the weekend here, it doesn't look too bad, but this afternoon we got 52, 49 this evening, feeling great because the weather conditions actually improved by nightfall. So a little unsettled, a little upset this morning, but you know what? I think things are going to be much better. A look outside, damp conditions due to that high humidity and a couple of sprinkles that fell overnight. Not a big deal overall. Temperatures here this morning checking in around 44 degrees to 46 degrees out toward Sheepshead Bay. Not too bad temperature-wise across the 5 boroughs. Everything's okay, but if you look at the winds, so we do have a southerly component, and that's juicing us up with some humidity, but also allowing us to experience a touch mild temperatures that are a touch milder than what we've been experiencing. Off to our west, we do have our satellite radar featuring a couple of sprinkles in central Pennsylvania, coming over toward looks like soon into the Poconos, and then eventually we'll see some of those sprinkles our way as you get into the first half of today. So it does get better by tonight. I think we'll see decreasing clouds after the evening commute or around the evening commute, making for a pretty sunset. And then tomorrow, well, we'll have to talk about that coming up in less than 10 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Mike. And this morning, we are learning about a young boy who was hit by a car. News 12 Brooklyn reporter Phil Tate has those details for us in Flatbush. Phil.
Good morning. Police tell us this incident involving a 9-year-old happened just before 1 a.m. Now, as police continue to investigate, they tell us this all went down when the 9-year-old ran into the street and was hit by a 2012 sedan that was traveling on Avenue D at the time. Now, police continue to tell us the 9-year-old boy was pinned underneath the car following that hit. That's when cops arrived to the scene and rescued him. He was taken to Maimonides Hospital, where he is listed in critical but stable condition. Now, cops say the driver of that car is a 32-year-old man, and he did not stay on the scene. Now, the driver of that car was taken into custody as charges are pending. Now, this is an ongoing investigation. We will continue to keep you updated with the very latest. In Flatbush, Phil Tate, News 12.
All right, Phil, thank you for this update. We have another hateful incident in our borough, and it's under investigation. It's the latest in a disturbing string of anti-Semitic attacks recently here in the city. The most recent attack happening in Gravesend, where a 34-year-old Jewish woman pushing her 3-year-old child in a stroller was struck in the head by 42-year-old Ayanna Logan. Logan was arrested yesterday afternoon and is now facing charges including assault as a hate crime and acting in a manner injurious to a child. People in the borough reacting to the rise in hateful attacks.
It's really scary to know that 2019, 2020, even in my home of Crown Heights, which is tons of Orthodox Jews, I still have to be careful about walking down the streets, and even more careful about my fiance walking down the street.
Every night we're adding another light of Hanukkah to bring more light into this world, and unfortunately the light is getting a little bit diminished, and we're not gonna let that happen.
And police releasing this video from one of the attacks on Tuesday on Kingston Avenue in Crown Heights. They say a 25-year-old man was walking down the street when a group of men started yelling profanities at him. Police say the victim started recording them, and that's when this man threw a drink at him before running away. There were several other incidents this week. In one case, 2 young boys were beaten and harassed by assailants, and on the Upper East Side, a 65-year-old man was punched while the attacker also yelled anti-Jewish slurs at him. All right, police have released these images of the men they say allegedly robbed and sodomized a 59-year-old man near the corner of Pennsylvania Avenue and Cozine Avenue, and we're told this incident happened on Monday. The attackers took $100 from the victim before taking off. The victim was taken to Brookdale Hospital, where he remains in serious condition. Also, a disturbing scene in Gravesend after a woman allegedly stabbed her own mother in the back. We're told it happened just before 12:30 yesterday afternoon inside an apartment on 2250 East 4th Street, and police say the 61-year-old woman was taken to the hospital for evaluation and appears to be okay. We're told the 41-year-old daughter has not been arrested or charged. If you have any information that can help with any of the stories we just mentioned, call Crime Stoppers. The number is 1-800-577-TIPS. Remember, all of these calls remain confidential. An East New York NYCHA tenant injured when the ceiling in his apartment came crashing down. Emmett Mizzle says he's lived at Fiorentino Plaza his whole life and feels insulted by NYCHA for its slow response to a growing issue. The East New York resident noticed a leak on December 7th and put a work order in, but it took 2 weeks before a maintenance worker even looked at it. And then this past Sunday, the ceiling just fell on him as he was sleeping. He even had to go to the hospital for his injuries.
You know, hit me in the head, back, everything. Just the whole ceiling comes down. And I'm like, this could have been avoided, and it could have been a lot worse than it was.
The housing authority tells us he will be getting keys to a temporary apartment nearby. NYCHA tells us that Mizzle it will make repairs once he moves all of his personal items. All right, the subway system is the main source of transportation for many New Yorkers, but how safe do you feel when you're waiting on the platform? NYPD Chief of Transit telling News 12 subway crime is at an all-time low. In the early 90s, crime on the rails was at its height with an average of 48 crimes per day, but now there's an average of 6 crimes a day. And the chief telling us their new system, where they put officers on each subway line to monitor and deter crime, is helping. But the chief also advises commuters to stay alert and be aware on the rails. All right, Alexa, how's it looking out there?
Hey, good morning. We're going to start off with the subway system. As you can see, a lot of green over here. If you are taking the Q train into Coney Island, you will want to take something else because they are investigating after brakes were pulled on that train. Overall, looking at the entire borough, things are running very smoothly. It's a nice commute so far into your Friday morning. Here's a look at the Gowanus Expressway between 6th and 7th Avenue. As you can see, some traffic building up here, but nothing that should cause you any delays this morning. Looking over at Midtown Crossings, the Queensboro Bridge has a drive time of 2 minutes and the Midtown Tunnel has a drive time of 3 minutes. As you can see, everything is in the green, so we're really running smoothly this morning. The Brooklyn Queens Expressway, same thing, nice and smooth. And this morning, alternate side parking rules are in effect, so you'll want to hop out and move your car if it is parked in one of those spots.
All right, Alexa, thanks for this update. There is a new proposal to bring a high-speed rail to New York. It's part of Governor Cuomo's 2020 State of the State agenda, and the rail would run along the Empire Corridor. That's from the city up to Buffalo. Cuomo plans to bring in outside experts who will recommend a plan for a faster, greener, and more reliable rail in New York. And yesterday, the governor vetoed a bill to allow electric scooters and bikes stateswide. He claims the bill didn't include enough safety measures. E-scooter manufacturer Lime and environmental advocates and municipal supporters have argued the bill fits into New York's push to address climate change. The governor tweeting about the decision saying, quote, "There's no need for us to choose between legalizing e-bikes and safety, and I will propose a bill that does both on January 8th. We'll be waiting for that. The holiday may be winding down, but the shopping season still in full swing as you're feeling it. Lots of people already heading out to make exchanges and returns if you didn't get exactly what you wanted from Santa this year. This is according to the Better Business Bureau. Stores aren't legally required to accept refunds or exchanges unless the item is damaged. They say return policies can also change during the holidays, so always double check with the seller to see if they offer cash refunds or store credit. When it comes to returning a gift without hurting someone's feelings, well, that is a little trickier.
Thank you, and then probably return it for something else.
Just keep it if I can use it, and then later on if I can't use it, I give it to someone who can.
All right, pay it forward, I guess. Of course, always keep your receipts in original packaging when making those returns. Some stores might even ask for your ID. You may still be enjoying your Christmas tree or lighting your Hanukkah menorah, but yesterday also marked the start of another holiday, Kwanzaa. Its fourth year, 5,000 participants hit the streets of Brooklyn and Harlem for the Kwanzaa Crawl. People of African descent visiting a handful of the 35 participating Black-owned bars in honor of the 7-night festival that celebrates African culture and heritage, as well as traditional values. And as Kwanzaa is in its second day, Mike, what kind of weather are we expecting?
It's not too bad today. I think today's weather conditions are actually pretty decent. We see mild temperatures to have this morning and this afternoon. You'll notice this morning it's at 48 degrees or so. Yesterday we were at 37. So what's the temperature change? About 10 to 13 degrees, depending on where you are across the city. The difference of temperatures between yesterday and today in Brooklyn Heights are about 10 degrees different, 10 degrees warmer, which is nice. Satellite radar does show that off to our west we do have some shower activity, rain shower activity, kind of moving toward the hills of central Pennsylvania. Those showers will eventually slide their way toward the city to provide us with a few sprinkles earlier in the day, but then mild temperatures by this afternoon. We're going to see these conditions improve by tonight and therefore seeing decrease in clouds going into tomorrow. A wind picks up as well. Today's high, 52.